How is everyone today? Anyway, if you all probably saw, um, you probably see the stream title that I'm going to be talking about John Lennon yet again. But first, I want to open with something I thought was a little unusual. Like I haven't done this in a while, but I decided to open up my CD here of John Lennon live in New York. Yes, might take me a while to get out, but I don't know why I didn't do this the last time I talked about this album, but on the inside, I guess I guess these would be the liner notes or whatever in the vinyl version, but in the CD it's just this little booklet. But it's got an interesting quote from John Lennon from 1969. You know, John Lennon, 1969. I think this would have been something he said during his bed-ins for peace in, what was it, Toronto or wherever. I'm trying to remember where John did his bed-ins for peace. Was not Toronto. I think he did like a separate bed-in. Amsterdam, that's it. Yeah, where he and Yoko just laid in a bed for a week protesting the Vietnam War, and they let the press come in and interview them. And I think there's a video of John Lennon talking to the cartoonist that draws what's his name, Al Cap, the guy who drew I think Little Abner or something, and Abner was someone who was very pro Vietnam, and for some reason he decided to pick a fight with John Lennon while he was lying in bed. Not a literal fight, just a verbal fight. But still, it's a very interesting video. And John Lennon, 1969, saying, "We're all Christ and we're all Hitler. We are trying to make Christ's message contemporary. We want Christ to win. What would he have done if he had advertisements, TV, records, films, and newspapers? The miracle today is communication, so let's use it." And then it goes on to describe the one-to-one concert and what John was trying to do for that performance. I just found it interesting. I remember seeing this. John Lennon saying he's trying to spread Christ's message. I remember seeing that quote in Bob Spitz's Beatles biography, but I had forgot the full context of that quote was John saying, "We're all Christ and we're all Hitler." So imagine a John Lennon shirt with a quote like that, "We're all Christ and we're all Hitler." And I don't know, you just have John Lennon and Yoko Ono's faces and lying in bed or something with no other context of why he was saying that. But I just found that quote interesting just because John Lennon got into a lot of controversy saying in 1966 in this one interview the Beatles are more popular than Jesus and fundamentalist Christians in America. I don't think anyone in the UK cared, but they freaked out and started burning Beatles records and everything, and they thought the Beatles were blasphemous and evil. But I remember one Beatles biography I read, John Wiener's Come Together on John Lennon. He noted that even before the more popular than Jesus statement, there were fundamentalists that hated the Beatles, and there was one author who tried to theorize that that all the crowds going crazy over the Beatles were this was some sort of communist hypnotism spell or something. But it's I don't know. It's funny that the fundamentalist Christians depicted John as this evil Satanist or whatever, but yet here's John praising Jesus in a 1969, I guess, Bed-In for Peace interview or something. And not to say that John Lennon said other blasphemous things. I mean, there was his song "God" off Plastic Ono Band, where he says, "I don't believe in Jesus," alongside a very, very long list of other things he doesn't believe in, including even the Beatles themselves. His song "I Found Out," and of course his unreleased song "Serve Yourself," a parody of a Bob Dylan song, "Gotta Serve Somebody." John Lennon does seem like he hated organized religion, but he liked Jesus's teachings of peace. I think in that very same more popular than Jesus interview, John said something along the lines of, "Jesus was all right, but his disciples were thick and ordinary." And I don't know, all the people that were burning Beatles records and everything kind of proved John right. But anyway, the reason I wanted to talk about John's the upcoming one-to-one concert album that's coming out, the stream I did reacting to the trailer, I forgot to saved that as a highlight or whatever, and it got deleted. That was also the stream where I talked about Jeff Bezos and his unfortunate 2011 rich person's dinner with Jeff Epstein. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe the owners of Twitch did not like me criticizing Bezos. I don't know. But more likely, I just forgot to save that stream. But some more controversy has come out about that album, so I'm gonna just re-react to the trailer, just for people on YouTube, and then I'm gonna mention the new controversy that has come out about this upcoming album. But I forgot. Yeah. I think my last stream I talked about Chris Pratt's weird interview with Bill Maher and how, like, I had accidentally said that Chris Pratt and Robert F. Kennedy were like, Robert F. Kennedy was his uncle. I got that wrong. Chris Pratt's wife, I think her name is Kathleen Pratt or something. She and Robert F. Kennedy, they're actually cousins, not uncles, not niece and uncle. They're cousins. So I guess Robert F. Kennedy would be Chris Pratt's cousin-in-law. I don't know how it would work. But anyway, I saw that this guy Owen Morgan, his name is. He's an ex-Jehovah's Witness, and he talks a lot about religious cults, and I guess you could say the Trump MAGA movement is a cult in of itself. But he did a reaction to Chris Pratt's interview with Bill Maher, and he went into way more detail than I did. It's much better than my own commentary, but I think this video is worth checking out. Yeah, this is Owen Unfiltered. That's what the name of this channel. He's got a couple YouTube channels, but where he separates his content. But this is the one where he reacts to Chris Pratt and goes over like more parts of the interview that I didn't go over. I didn't. I think I mentioned in my last stream that there's one section where Chris Pratt talks about how he gained weight to be on Parks and Recreation, and to me that sounded more like I don't know, Chris Pratt trying to get into like method acting for being in the Garfield movie, even though that would be a decade apart. But anyway, let's go to John Lennon's YouTube channel. Let's see, and just rewatch the trailer here where he revealed. I mean, they did a one for one. They did a documentary 1-for-1. I still need to check that documentary out sometime. But let's just re-react to the reveal trailer, and I'm gonna pretend. Yeah, I'm gonna pretend I'm seeing this for the first time. Yeah, I'll rewind it. I'll put the volume on really low. I'm not sure if like will copyright hit me or something. We see John morphing into Yoko. Oh, wait. I forgot. I did not shrink down my camera thing. My bad. Yeah, so... Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to... Do I still have the window open? Shoot. Reopen... Yeah, this is... Oh, shit. I didn't want to show off Gavin Newsom. Go away. Yeah, this is what I was talking about. The Owen Morgan video. Owen Unfiltered, where he's talking about Chris Pratt and Bill Maher. Yeah, check that out. But anyway, let's go back to... yeah, I forgot to show that on... shrink my camera down. But anyway, let's go to this little trailer here. Yeah. Oh, let me rewind. Yeah, I wanted to show the weird, the freaky John Lennon morphing into Yoko Ono thing they do here. Yeah, look at all that crap. 9 CD. Wow, 9 CDs. Yeah, book 204. I have Ultimate Imagine that comes with. It's funny. I have both a Making of Imagine book and the Ultimate Imagine collection comes with another book. So I have 2 books on the Making of Imagine. Sunday, bloody Sundays today. I should not sing. Yeah. And, okay, let's see, they've posted some more videos. Quote of John saying, "If we can have peace now." The deluxe set, yeah. John performing Instant Karma live. John talking to Geraldo Rivera. John performing Instant Karma live, and then let's see, 4LP lenticular box set. Is there anything different about this aside from? Is this just the same ad, but it's just for like the vinyl or something? Okay, this is just for the vinyls, yeah. Yeah, the same book. Yeah. Yeah, out on October 10th. That would be the day after John Lennon's birthday. Yeah, and okay, I mentioned this in my, when I first reacted to this. There is some controversy. I mean, it's John Lennon. Of course there's going to be controversy, but I've mentioned this before, but on John Lennon's Sometime in New York album in the center, you can see, I don't know if it's focused or something, but there is a particular feminist song that John Lennon and Yoko Ono wrote. I probably should not say the name on stream, but you could see it right there. Yeah, John performs that song live, and during this concert, and it's on the 1986 Live in New York City. Now let's see if I can find it on the track list on the back. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be visible. But yeah, the 1986 release of this concert includes that song, and if I go to the website, I'll have to shrink my video down again. Yeah, okay, here we are on John Lennon's website. If I word search, yeah, or maybe I should just, to make it simpler, actually, yeah, not found. If we go to the track list, I'll have to scroll. This is a really big web page. That song is not included anywhere. Where's the track list? And we have a bunch of, yeah, here we go. This is this, well, let's go to the 2 CD version, or the multi-CD, where they have, now for those of you who don't know, the 1-to-1 concert, this was a concert that John Lennon did for charity, and he did 2 performances. He did a set in the afternoon, and that's what the 1986 Live in New York City album covers. That's the afternoon show, and John Lennon, well, John was already dead when this was released, but Yoko Ono got criticism because the people that played that show, they felt that the evening performance they did was better than the afternoon one, and so for years it was only the afternoon show we got, and a few excerpts from the evening show, the second one, did appear on the John Lennon anthology, which was released years later, and this time they're going to finally release both shows on this new 1-to-1 album concert CD thing. And if I remember, the 1986 album didn't include the whole set list because Yoko Ono did some songs, but they cut them. But it looks like for this new release, they're going to include Yoko's songs. So this is the afternoon show, and let me compare the set list. So the Live in New York album has, it opens with the crowd, if I remember, saying "Power to the People," and then John goes to his song "New York City." That's from Sometime in New York City. "It's So Hard" from Imagine. "Woman is the N-Word of the World." "Well, Well, Well" from Plastic Ono Band. "Instant Karma," "Mother," "Come Together." I think that's the only Beatles song he covers. "Imagine," "Cold Turkey," "Hound Dog," and then "Give Peace a Chance." I think that's a outro with the audience. So that's how many songs is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's, I think, 11 or so. Yeah, but here they include, let's see, Afternoon Show, Move On Fast. Yeah, Move On Fast, that's a song that they didn't include on the 1986 album. Born to the Prison, that's one of Yoko's songs. We're All Water, that's another Yoko song. Open Your Box, that's missing from the 1986. Don't Worry Kyoko, that's missing from the 1986. That's another of Yoko's songs. I think that was the B-side to Cold Turkey. And then they have the Evening Concert, which that's the one that was they had a few tracks from the Evening Concert on the John Lennon anthology. So this would be again, it's a mix of John songs and some of Yoko's songs. And then I guess Ultimate Mixes. I guess this is wait a minute, New York City, Sisters Attica State. Oh, this is almost like almost all the tracks from Sometime in New York. I guess. What, were they gonna stealth release that album with this? I guess these might be like concert. Are these like concert rehearsals or something, or just them messing around? Yeah. Live Jam. Okay, Live Jam. That was Oh, so it looks like they are kind of stealth releasing Sometime in New York, because Sometime in New York was actually a double album. Actually, one was the studio album, then the other was stuff they did with Frank Zappa, and yeah. So it looks like they're stealth releasing Sometime in New York together with the one-to-one concert. Weirdly. Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to have, all these songs and everything. But as I've mentioned, they've cut "Woman Is the N-Word of the World," which is a bit ironic because John Lennon, John's son, who is overseeing this new release. Let me see if he has gone on the record to say that he does not like political correctness, and I found this old. I talked about this with Wax Badger, or GuineaPigDan talked about this with Wax Badger. This Twitter thread that Sean had talked about. Yeah, and so it's very strange. But another controversy has come up about this release, and it has to do. This is from a. Let me open up. This is a YouTuber named WingsOfPegasus. Now, this dude apparently, I guess, works in like music mixing or something. But previously, a couple months ago, he had I guess caused a little controversy because he was going over the Beatles' 2003 release, "Let It Be Naked," which is basically the "Let It Be" album minus all the overdubs and over recordings that were done by Phil Spector, the way that Paul McCartney wanted the album to originally be released. And this guy, WingsOfPegasus, he went over like a recording of Long and Winding. What was it? Was it the title track "Let It Be" or of Long and Winding Road? It was like one of those songs, and he found that they had used auto-tuning on Paul's voice, which he did not like because it goes against the whole vision that "Let It Be Naked" is supposed to be basically, here are all the songs with no overdubs, no editing or whatever. It's just the Beatles, no studio special effects, which is the way that the album was originally conceived. And he felt that was kind of dishonest, but I saw some people criticizing how he did this, basically pointing out that I think it was "Let It Be" or "Long and White," but people pointed out that the take that was used on "Let It Be Naked" wasn't the same take that was on the finished "Let It Be" album, so it's like it's not exactly a fair comparison if you're not looking at the same take. But he's come out with a similar thing where he was analyzing John's performance of "Come Together" from the one-to-one concert, and he found some interesting anomalies. Hopefully this will just be fair use. I'll skip to when he analyzes. Yeah. Hopefully he doesn't mind me like playing parts of his. Oh shit. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Here we go.
We haven't really got that kind of thing. We're still coming up and touching this line up here.
Okay, I might have to rewind, but basically, where is it? He compares two versions of come together here. A version that's basically, I guess, uploaded by a fan, and then he compares how the song sounds on the album, because John Lennon's YouTube released this new remastered, restored version of "Come Together" live, and he gets into some weird technical stuff. Yeah.
Listening to it, I think, well, it is absolutely the same vocal, but
Yeah.
it isn't the recent release from 6 days ago.
Yeah, he's getting into like some weird technical stuff, like
On the left-hand side,
looking at the sound, and but basically what he goes over, he compares these two recordings of John performing "Come Together" live, and basically he noticed that on the upcoming 1-to-1 release, the song that they released on John's YouTube, he notices that there are parts of John's vocal where like they've seemed to be edited. Now, if you've listened to the 1986, John live in New York City, or the John Lennon anthology, basically there are a lot of imperfections. There's I don't remember if it's on this one or the John Lennon anthology, but they have when John's playing the song "Woman is the N-word of the world," at one point he forgets the lyrics, and in the middle of the song he screams, "This is the part I can never remember, but you get the message anyway!" Like, he makes mistakes, and he doesn't sing completely exactly on key all the time. In Wings of Pegasus, he notices that there are places where it seems like in this new release they've tried to pitch correct John's voice in places to make him sound more on key. And if his analysis is accurate, it's kind of like, a bit disrespectful to how this performance was done. John wasn't, doing everything completely perfect and everything. It's like they want to just try and polish up this live performance and everything in ways that John never intended. Kind of like, I don't know, I guess it's kind of like, you might compare it to like George Lucas, adding CGI to, the Star Wars movies when they were done in the 70s and 80s and everything, and then he wants to try and replace his replace the old versions with his new versions. So I guess this is kind of the musical equivalent of doing that. And so there's the issue of kind of censorship a bit, removing "Woman is the N-word of the world," and a lot of, if you actually listen to the lyrics of that song, it's about feminism and all the problems women have. It's not John trying to say something racist. He's obviously using that word to kind of be a bit attention grabbing. But now we have and in this video, Wings of Pegasus says, there's some record producer who's wanting to polish John and change what John's saying, and the record producer in question would be John's son, Sean Lennon. So I'm not sure if Sean thought his father's vocals should be cleaned up or something. Like, if it was just cleaning up the audio or whatever, that's fine. But if it's they want to go in with auto-tune or something, or pitch correction, and okay, John should have hit this note, but he didn't quite reach it, so let's lower it or make it higher or something. It's not authentic to how it was recorded back then. So it's like Beatles fans are not very happy right now. We have the issues with the 1-to-1 concert release that's coming out, and then of course there's the Beatles anthology, where Beatles fans are upset that they're not going to release Carnival of Light, they're not going to release the 27-minute version of Helter Skelter, and they're putting out a 4th volume, but half of the songs they're including is stuff that was already released on some of their previous re-releases, where they had demo tapes on Sgt. Pepper's and the White Album releases, and it's a lot of those tracks come back on Anthology 4, and I don't know, and there's also people complaining that in order to get Anthology 4, you have to buy this whole new set of albums. You can't, they're not selling them individually. You have to buy all 4 of them. So if you already bought the Beatles anthology in the 90s and you just want Anthology 4, you can't get it individually. So I don't know. There's a lot of you know Beatles fans who are very bitter at Apple right now. Apple, the owner of the Beatles catalog, not Apple, the Steve Jobs company. But of course, casual people who are just casually listening or streaming the Beatles music, they're probably not going to give a crap about all this. This is like, I don't know, completionists or collectors issues and everything. People who care about getting every single you know single thing the Beatles ever recorded. Like if they had a recording where Paul McCartney coughs or something on a mic, they'd want to collect that and add that to to their their whole library of all the stuff the Beatles ever recorded. Yeah. So let's see what chat is saying. Oh, another stream boo or proficient Jack Knifeo? Feo? I don't know. I could have learned a language in the time it took me to read John Lennon's Wikipedia page. Yeah. Well, I haven't looked at John's wiki page, but I would imagine it's pretty extensive. Well, since my channel is now like what is it, affiliate? Yeah, I might be getting ads now. So let me just delete proficient Jack Knifeo. I don't know. Well, it sounds to me like feo means ugly in Spanish. And what you're doing here, spamming my channel, is pretty ugly, so ban and delete. There. There we are. I wonder if there's anything else to go over with all this John Lennon news. Trying to think, like, I was watching like one person reacting to the new mix of Free as a Bird, the song one of the Beatles did, a John Lennon demo that the Beatles completed in the 90s. And like some sharp-eared listeners realized that they had changed one of George Harrison's lyrics, like whatever happened to the life that we once knew. It's a line that George sings, but then in the new version, apparently this changed lyric first appeared in a re-release of the Beatles 1 in 2015, where they changed it to whatever happened to the love we once knew, changing life to love. And it's like, and now that change appears on the 2025 remaster of Free as a Bird, and fans are kind of wondering, like, why did they feel the need to like change this one George Harrison line? So apparently George recorded this lyric in more than one way, and they decided to switch it or something. It's very strange. I don't know. You'll find if you like go on YouTube, you'll find that there are very obsessive Beatles fans who like analyze like every single song under a microscope. I think there's one channel, I don't remember its name, but it's like once you hear it, you can't unhear it. They go over like every little, I don't know, microphone slip up, or everything they were doing with all the musical special effects, the limited technology they had in the 60s. And like, here you can hear a ghost track or something behind in this vocal. Ghost tracks are when like a microphone picks up someone, that not directly in front of the microphone, and or they like point out places in a song where you can tell that someone's singing out of key or something, or not on cue, or they find a place where they found where a tape had been cut, and there's like you can kind of tell where a sound or an instrument suddenly starts or suddenly stops or something, things like that. Like it gets kind of insane. And there's also there's a Beatles book I have. Let me go get it. Here we go. This is something GuineaPigDan got. I don't remember if it was for his birthday or Christmas or something. It's like all their recording sessions. I think this guy, what's his name? Mark Lewisohn. But like, it catalogs like every single time the Beatles went into the recording studio and what they recorded. Like, apparently this guy was, I think the story is he was given access to, like, to their vault in Abbey Road, and he was allowed to listen to every single thing the Beatles ever recorded, even unreleased stuff. And it's from this book it details things like Carnival of Light and the 27-minute version of Helter Skelter. I don't remember how we first learned about Carnival of Light. If it was just recollections of people who've heard it at the one event it was played at, or if it was like, I don't know, if it was like Beatles fanzines or something that talked about it. But I should also show the John Lennon Imagine book I have, or the two of them I have. Okay, I can't find it right now, but I have or did I put it on this bookshelf somewhere? Oh, whatever. But anyway, well, I have like two books on the making of Imagine, but one of them came with the Ultimate Imagine here. Yeah, look at this. Like, I think this book goes song by song, giving an analysis of each track and describing how each song was put together. Yeah. Oh, jealous guy. And then I have another Imagine book that's basically just a white cover, and it goes over similar information, goes track by track, and has interviews with like all the people that worked with John Lennon, all the musicians that are still alive to talk about the album. And there's also like, how many documentaries? There's the 1971 Imagine John Lennon TV special, where it's basically just music videos, kind of for the album. And then there was the 2003 Give Me Some Truth, which was a making of John Lennon documentary, or making of Imagine. Then there's the 2018 Above Us Only Sky, which is another documentary, but now in Blu-ray quality. Oh, something I forgot to mention. Like, if I go back to the John Lennon website. Yeah, if I shrink my camera down. This release of the one-to-one concert is called Power to the People, John and Yoko / Plastic Ono Band. Like, this is really confusing because, let's see. If I go back, there was already a Power of John Lennon album called Power to the People. This was a best hits album that came out in, let's see. Trying to find the year this came out. Oh, 2010. Yeah. And I think there was also like two compilation albums of John Lennon called Gimme Some Truth. There was like, let me see if I can. Yeah, Gimme Some Truth box set. And later Sean Lennon released a compilation album also called Gimme Some Truth like 10 years later. And he said, I wasn't aware we already had a box set already called Gimme Some Truth, which was pretty funny. So it's a bit, a little confusing having two John Lennon albums, a compilation album, plus the one-to-one concert album called Gimme Some, Power to the People. Like, I don't know, they could have just called it John Lennon one-to-one concert, same as the documentary that they released, or I don't know, maybe John Lennon Live in New York City expanded version. I don't know. Or I don't know. Maybe call it John Lennon Live in New York special edition version. I don't know. Yeah, like a George Lucas special edition or whatever. All right, I should put this back. Yeah, so just a moment. This is the only ultimate version I own of any of John's albums. I have not gotten Ultimate Plastic Ono Band, which came out a few years ago, or Ultimate Mind Games, which came out I think last year or the year before. That one was the one where if you got the collector's edition, it would come with a glass box that was supposed to be a replica of one of Yoko Ono's art pieces, and a lot of people compared it to a giant Kleenex box or a giant toilet. Actually, I think I have another idea of where I might have put the second John Lennon book. I might have put it in some shelves over here. Let's see if I find it. Oh, there it is. Found it. I'm a messy kitty. Yeah, I found the other John Lennon Imagine book. This thing is even thicker. Jeez. Okay, here we go. This is the other Imagine book I was talking about. Yeah, I just remembered where it was. Yeah, this thick thing. You know, this is... But it has a lot of interesting information. Yeah. We got some nice photos of John and Yoko in here. Yeah. And, like, I think one of my favorite parts it talks about the original cover for Imagine, like the first concept, before they just had it being John, you know, like in a room with, you know, a cloudy overlay over him. Like their original idea was going to be they were going to take a picture of John and then they would cut out his eyes and put clouds in them. And I think they show a concept of it in the book or something, and it just looks kind of freaky with, like, if they had John wearing his glasses, they cut out the glasses lens and then put clouds over those, it would look better rather than having it be his own eyes, because then it would look like he has some sort of a eye problem. But it's a really, really thick book. I'm trying to think, like, anything else. Like, I remember this book, it has a... I don't remember which page it's on, but they have quotes from John Lennon, like, you know, from different interviews he gave between the 70s and in 1980. And they, like, on one page, they show off, I guess, one of John's more controversial statements where he admits that he was once a wife beater or something. He says he hit both men and women, and like he's trying to stop being violent. And I don't know, it's kind of shocking that, you know, a John Lennon book would, you know, have very John admitting to like really unflattering things. And you know, if they can like produce a John Lennon book where he's admitting that he had a past of violence and everything, it's like, you know, why can't they put out a John Lennon album where, you know, he uses some politically incorrect language or something. Like, it's been no secret that John Lennon had a very contentious life, you know, outside of the Beatles. Let me put this book back. I don't know. Like, I don't know, it doesn't make sense to kind of whitewash and try and clean up John's life when, you know, John never pretended to be a saint or anything. So trying, you know, just for the sake of profit or whatever, you know, trying to present a sanitized version of John Lennon. He didn't write a song that had the N-word in it. You know, he didn't, well, I was about to say John Lennon never, appeared naked on an album cover, but then I remembered a few years ago they actually did release an update, like a re-release of that album, Two Virgins, and the rest of the avant-garde albums he did with Yoko Ono. So it's like they're kind of selective, like how much controversy they'll be upfront about with John Lennon and everything. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, here's my copy of John and Yoko's Two Virgins. No, I'm not going to reveal what's underneath this little slip. Yeah, there's a reason it's there. And then his other avant-garde albums, Life with the Lions. This is like Yoko in the hospital after John and Yoko got busted for marijuana possession, and then just to I don't know, just to thumb their noses at the authorities. They put their arrest picture on the back cover, and they have a statement from the Beatles producer George Martin, where he just says no comment. And then their wedding album, which one side of the record is John and Yoko just reading the news during their bed-in for peace, and then the other side is John and Yoko screaming each other's names. John! No, it's John! Yoko! Just screaming each other's names while recording of their heartbeats plays in the background. Yeah, this is the type of stuff that John Lennon, I for some reason, thought was a good idea to release. Like, I don't know. And the two versions cover, since John and Yoko are naked on this, there was this one musician who released a song. Let me look it up. It was called John Lennon, You've Gone Too Far. Like someone reacting to the two versions cover. Let me see if I can find it. See who the musician was. John, you've gone too far. Hopefully I spelled it right. Rainbow. That's the artist's name.
It was impossible to expect a moral awakening.
I probably can't play this song just so I don't invoke well, that's just the first couple seconds. I just wanted to show at least show the record here. Oh, maybe I should just look up the lyrics. Rainbow, John, you went too far this time. That's what the song is called. Yeah, this is like... So this artist, Rainbow, I guess was a fan of the Beatles. And she was so disturbed by the naked picture of John and Yoko on two versions that she recorded an entire song called John, You Went Too Far This Time. And this would have been released in, what, 1968 or 69? So this was a, you know, I like to imagine maybe John heard this song and he said to himself, you know, not far enough. And, you know, then he went on to record Woman is the N-Word of the World and a bunch of other really controversial songs in the 70s. I don't know, just to show how far he really could go. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure what else I could talk about. It's just, I'm just geeking out over Beatles stuff right now. Yeah. I guess I just wanted to mention, you know, these avant-garde albums because my artist GuineaPigDan just released a model kit building a Mega Man 11 Mega Man. Let's see, where is it? I have it here somewhere. There it is. Yeah, this thing. And at one point he started listening to I think it was either Wedding Album or Life of the Lions while he was building Mega Man here. But you only hear it for like a few seconds. We're not playing the whole thing because, you know, copyright infringement and everything. So, I don't know. It would have been more appropriate to listen to rock music because Mega Man's name is Rockman in Japan. But, I don't know. It's just weird atmospheric ambience to listen to while building a model kit. I should probably start the animation segment of this stream, so I'll go fetch GuineaPigDan. I'll move the camera out of the way here and put away my albums. Yeah, so just a moment. This John Lennon anthology box is pretty heavy. I think I know what I'm going to do with this. Okay. Alrighty. Oh, you know what? The John Lennon anthology box may be pretty heavy, but this Imagine book is even heavier. Peter. What are you doing? What are you doing? What? Oh! 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 John Lennon said, to imagine peace. Not to do this. Imagine this. One more for good measure. Stop. Please. No! I ache everywhere. Ugh. Oh, my head. Ugh. Wait, what's this naked album cover of John and Yoko doing on my desk here? What was Peter doing? Oh, he's made a mess. Let me put these away. And this also. Yeah, what a bad cat. Messing up all my CDs. Excuse me. Hello, everybody. Okay, I've cleaned up Peter's mess. Okay. Let's see what people are saying. What is all this overcomplicated nonsense? I just learned what a trillion glissando is. Trillion glissando. Let me see what that is. Why Emma Watson disappeared from Hollywood? I don't know, because she doesn't live in California. Did I glissando? Let me spell that correctly. Ondo means like, it's like the ing ending for a verb. Estoy comiendo. I am eating. A trill is a musical effect that involves rapidly alternating between two adjacent notes, while a glissando is a smooth slide from one note to another, encompassing all the pitches in between. Oh. There's my glasses. Well, I didn't... I'm not a musician. I do not know musical terminology very well. So... I wouldn't know what any of this is. Let's see, do I have my keyboard over here? Let's see, do I remember how to do some songs on this thing? Yeah, I don't remember how to, but like, my parents have an old Beatles songbook, but it's like how to play Beatles songs with just one finger on the keyboard. I was trying to remember how to do yesterday. Let me see if I can find that book. Do I have it in my room? Then I could probably read it and see what notes I'm supposed to play. Somewhere. Oops. I should turn this off. Somewhere in the garage, Mom and Dad still have like their old vinyl collection. Let's see if I can have this. Yeah, so this is, I guess, my mom, or I don't know if this belongs to my mom or dad, but they have the old Meet the Beatles record. And somewhere, my dad said I can have his old copy of Double Fantasy on vinyl. I have that somewhere. I already have this, though. The 2010 re-release of Double Fantasy with cover drawn by John Lennon. Looks pretty nice. This is a Double Fantasy stripped down where disc 1 is like the original album, then disc 2 is like remixes where the songs like have less instrumentation, but it's like bring their voices out more. And I think it's like alternate takes with instruments removed or something. Which it has me a little curious if John Lennon keeps going with these ultimate remixes or whatever. Like, what's he gonna do when he gets to Double Fantasy? Is he gonna just I don't know, just re-release Double Fantasy stripped down or something? Or he'll do something new, like, I don't know, release more demo recordings or something. There's already, if you go on YouTube, there's like already tons of people who have bootlegs of unreleased John Lennon material, and they have like, I don't know, here's a bunch of alternate takes of this song John recorded or whatever. Same with other artists, like Paul McCartney has a bunch of bootlegs. I think a lot of the John Lennon bootlegs came from either tapes stolen by one of his employees, Fred Seaman, or they came from the Lost Lennon Tapes radio show that people recorded, and then they kept their recordings. You know what's the hardest thing for me to do? Fighting the urge to commission someone the minute I get paid. I know that feeling. Yeah, I know that feeling. I should well, that's just looking at YouTube, like, notifications. Michael Nolan, the bottom line is live. Why rockers hate AI-generated music. Oh. Well, of course. I mean, it's like they hate AI-generated music, and they also hate, record producers that get, I don't know, too overly obsessed with perfection and editing things. Let me just... close these. I'll watch this video later. Me and Mr. Mayo reacting to the whole pitch correction controversy. I was also going to listen to the double album version of Red Rose Speedway, just to give it that album a fair shake. But anyway, Ken the Nekomata wanted me to give this person a shout out. I guess I'll go into shrink my window mode again. This guy, Nick Artist, I guess he's a friend of Ken's or something, but he's like doing a crowd, 10,000. I don't know if you need that much money to move over, but I don't know, good luck. But anyway, I just wanted to be nice and do a favor. Like, Nick Artist here wants to like move to America and is crowdfunding to get help, so I guess give Ken the Nekomata's friend some support. I'm not sure why you would want to move to America at this time of all times, but if that what makes Nick happy, have a go at it. Good luck coming here and dealing with things like tariffs and everything. Let me get the animation ready. I'm trying to think what I could add next. Oh, Brazil ain't exactly heaven at the moment. Oh. Is there something going on in Brazil right now? I don't know, maybe Aunt Brazil returned there and is wrecking havoc in that country. She went to meet the president of Brazil and shoved potatoes up his nose. Or her nose, I forget who's president of Brazil right now. Yeah, because it's the will of David Wilson or whatever. I've not decided on if I ever draw comics with Aunt Brazil, like, who David Wilson should even be. Like, should it be a cult leader she has started following? Or is it like someone she saw in a dream? Or is it just like a random neighbor she harasses that she's become convinced is divine or something? I should also, excuse me. Oh, since I've gotten all my old model kit videos posted, one more video I wanted to get edited eventually. This is something I shot last year at Further Confusion. There was a strange Garfield panel that was all about Mike Pence, Trump's first vice president, and how Pence is a Garfield fan. And it was shot with my old phone, and the audio on it is terrible. And I was gonna go over this video and like try and subtitle it, similar to what I did with the video I shot this Further Confusion at the Chinese language panel, where the host was wearing a fursuit head, and it was kind of hard to hear what he was saying. So I subtitled like the entire video, but it also helps because he's speaking Chinese to all the attendees, and it probably helps to like show what he's saying on screen and to explain all the tones and everything. But let's see. It'll be I don't know. I feel a little bad that it's been over a year since this Garfield panel and I still haven't posted it. But it's just, I don't know, I'm kind of bad at procrastinating with things. I mean, a lot of those model kit videos, some of them I shot in like, I think 2023. So nearly 2 years, and I finally got around to posting them. Yeah, so, oh, yeah, I want to open up my animatic. Jeez, I think I need to blow my nose. I don't know, one of my nostrils just feels really stuffy. I'm going to go back and rewatch this animation and figure out what I want to fix next. One thing I know I want to fix is fixing the size of the heads, because they're really big at the beginning and I wasn't consistent, then they shrink. Yeah, I might want to fix the animation of Baccio putting his hand on his cheek. And also figuring out how many frames should the kiss be, because I still feel like it's a bit too fast. And also making their bodies more consistent. I should open up that Disney thing again. Mickey's Polo Team. Yeah, lower the volume just so it doesn't trigger copyright or anything. Why is, what's his name, Jared Leto's face there? That is disgusting. I mean, I know it's a bit hypocritical to say why is Jared Leto's face there when, if you see behind me, I have a Morbius placard on my shelf over there. Let me go grab it. Yeah, swipe this as a little gift. Well, for myself. Yeah. I basically took this as a joke. And there's nothing on the other side. It's just black. But, yeah. I saw Morbius with Keyblade Raccoon. It was terrible. And, even though Jared Leto is, like, has a bunch of allegations against him, and there's all these terrible stories about him, like, his the lengths he goes to do method acting is insane. Like, when he was shooting Suicide Squad as the Joker, he would send people, like, dead rats or used condoms. And then, I think on Morbius, since the main character, Michael Morbius, is supposed to be disabled, Jared Leto would insist on always using the crutches everywhere he went, or using wheelchairs, pretending to be disabled, even doing pretending to be disabled when he goes to the bathroom. I don't know if he's doing any crazy shit on Tron Ares. I think I saw an article saying he insists that like he be called his character's name the whole time. Oh wow, the three little pigs get a cameo here. Is this like supposed to be you know the Pixar theory that all the Pixar movies are in the same universe? Well, now we have the Disney theory where all the Disney characters exist in the same universe. I mean, I guess they already did that in what was the show called? Mouse of House, or the House of Mouse, or whatever it was called, where they're you know and there's like obsessive Disney fans pointing out that you can see Belle, walking in a scene of Hunchback of Notre Dame. Pelt of Scar appears in Hercules, and similar to the Pixar theory saying that all the Pixar movies take place in the same timeline, there's people saying that all the Disney movies exist in the same universe or something. Yeah, so shoot, what was I looking at again? Did I just want to bring this cartoon again? And I'm trying to remember what I wanted to correct. I know I want to smooth out the animation with his hand there. I guess I'll do that. What frame is this? Oh, here we go. Let's look at the frames where excuse me. How many frames is this? 1, 2, 3. Just 3? Really? I was thinking maybe like an extra frame or just redrawing a frame. I don't know. Celebrity characters could be part of the Disney Cinematic Universe. Oh. Like every time Disney parodies a celebrity or something, like they appear in the House of Mouse or something. Although that would probably be very difficult to make into an actual episode or something, because they'd have to get permission to use the likeness of a ton of dead actors. Let me look at this again. Let's look at this frame by frame. Maybe add an extra in between there where he just slightly moving and then moves his arm up. But of course, if I do that, I'll have to adjust the animation of Bomb being dizzy. Let me insert an extra frame here.
ears are a little high, but... Okay, so maybe I should draw his ears going low. Maybe I should draw them approximately the same height. My nose is stuffy for some reason. I don't know why. Oops. He just very slightly moves his hand up. Does he move? Okay, so he moves it down. So maybe just goggles slightly down. Now if I'm inserting a frame, you know, the frame of Bomb being dizzy, I'll have to move that back a frame and then move all the other frames back one. So that would be a bit of a challenge, having to correct so many frames. Maybe I should have had Bomb and Baccio, like, I don't know, maybe I should have animated them separately or something. And then combine them. Let's see what else. And some here, like I just roughly drew Baccio's arm, but I didn't make it look like the mechanical hand. So maybe I'll go back and just add those. And I also might, you know, change the animation where Bomb is like shaking. Like I mentioned before, like instead of grabbing the bell and shaking it with her hand, like maybe she undoes the, you know, the what I call the bow, but she undoes the collar around her neck and then she holds it and shakes it this way. Like, well, if it's not clear what I... Yeah, what I mean is, like she would shake it kind of like this. That's what I mean. Like instead of shaking it this way, I'm not sure which way I'd prefer. Yeah, and if, in case you're wondering, this is the collar of my dog Speck, who we had to put down like over a decade ago. You know, so and I hope it's not disrespectful to use his collar as a prop. And I just want to. It even kind of rings like a bell. His little dog tag. I don't know, maybe I could use this as a photo ref or something. So I didn't think about the way the collar flops up and down. That could like make a very interesting animation. The only thing is that, let's see, like Bomb is, you know, shaking this in front of Bacchio's face, so, you know, I would probably have to move Bacchio back a few inches or something just so there's room. So maybe I should just keep it the bell or something. I mean, if we look at how the bell is rung in Clark Gable's face, I mean, she only gets a bit into his face towards the end. Yeah, so maybe I should I don't know if I want to redo the animation, like either have Bacchio be pushed back a little further just to make room for Bomb shaking her collar with the bell on the end like this. I don't know. Yeah, that's why photo refs matter, by the way. Like, until I shook Speck's collar like that, I didn't think about, you know, I just thought of the collar being stiff or something. I didn't think about it, like, flopping around as it went up and down. So, I don't know, that could make it an interesting animation if I decide to change how Bomb's shaking the bell here. Otherwise, you know, it looks like the bell is like on Velcro or something. Something else I was thinking of, like maybe making the heads a little bigger to match how they look here. Or I decided to edit it like this. I should duplicate that. It'll be the same size here. And maybe I should probably. I'm trying to think, should I keep their heads circular or add the cheeks like I drew them? There, the head looks a little smaller. That looks okay. Like, I'm not sure what to add next for the animation. Aside from, like, yeah, I think adding an extra in between for putting his hand on his cheek would help just a little bit, and also like making the heads a bit bigger to match how it does when I first draw it. First, let's see how it looks when. Oh, I forgot something else I wanted to fix. During the ear wiggle. mechanical arm. There we go. Fix some of those. This will probably require a lot of copy and pasting if I'm call it that. There we go. Okay, there we go. Redoing some of these. All right. There you go. Oops. Here one of the dogs got up. Oh, yeah, it's 5:45, so in a bit I might take a break to feed them. hear Scamp getting up. I don't know what he's getting up for. frames did I draw with Boccia with like an intact arm instead of the robot arm? This will just make things a little easier having. Getting a little tired. Might take a nap for a bit. And just put the stream on pause or something. Oops. Okay, then we'll go back to the robot hand. Okay. And I'll have to do something similar if I add this as an in-between for this animation of Boccio putting his robot hand on its cheek. Basically moving over all these frames of balls looking dizzy. I'm surprised the stream didn't crash even once. Don't jinx it, Ken. Don't jinx it. I'm gonna take a short break for a bit just because I'm a little tired. I might have some dinner also, so BRB. Oh yeah, and I have to feed the dogs as well. I am back. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Yeah. That would be Domino's belly button, not my belly button. Yeah. Yeah, I just... okay, I took a little bit more than 15 minutes to get back. But, while I was downstairs, I was checking YouTube, and, it's kind of funny that I mentioned the Mark Lewisohn book on... You know, Peter brought that up. But while I was checking out YouTube... let me see if... What was the name of this YouTuber? LarsLand. Yeah, she just posted a video. She's a Beatles YouTuber. And she just posted a video like an hour ago talking about the Mark Lewisohn book. Oh, damn it, another ad. says, oh, there's a video done by Pop Goes the 60s. Mark Lewisohn's rift with Apple. I didn't know he had a falling out with Apple. Let me Google this. Mark Lewisohn. I'm probably not spelling his name right. Apple. 10 months ago. Okay, Beatles Reddit. I was wondering when Lewisohn's rift and apparent censure from Apple began. I assumed this was something recent in the last 10 years since Tune in Volume 1 was released, but does it go further back? This video from Pop Goes the 60s suggests it originates from a rift with George Harrison and continues to be banned from any involvement in accessing archival material by Olivia. That's George Harrison's widow, Olivia Harrison. Okay, I was not aware that Mark Lewisohn had drama with the surviving Beatles and with Olivia and Yoko. Okay, that is strange. I was thinking, like, what if I reacted to this video on stream or something, because I haven't watched it yet. Yeah, this. We need to talk about Mark Lewisohn. Huh. Well, maybe I'll continue working on this animation first, and then maybe I'll have Peter check out this video. Shoot. I need some more water. Just a moment. Excuse me. Okay. All right. I was thinking of, like, also doing a comic, kind of a semi-sequel to the Hiragana Katakana comic I did. Like, where Peter the Cat and James the Red Panda explain their name origins. And I don't mean, like, how I came up with their names. I mean, like, the etymology of the names, Peter and James. There we go. No, what will I call this? Dizzy 9 or Baccio Hand Anticipation? Anti is short for anticipation. Next. Actually, come to think of it, I could insert. I just remembered, like, I could probably just insert the frame that goes before this one. If I look at, just insert it a frame early. That would probably be easier now that I think about it. It's the frame that goes before this one. let's take bomb from here. We'll go into that one. I was thinking I had to move all these frames, but then I realized I could just probably put the frame that of Bomb being dizzy that comes before this one and just attach it to this new keyframe. That'd probably be easier. Oops. Yeah, so this would be much simpler than I thought it would be. Okay. That was a lot simpler than I thought it would be. There's something else. What's the program I'm using? This is Sketchbook Pro. This is not an animation program, so there's probably better programs to use. I'm kind of doing this the hard way. But I have done animations in Sketchbook Pro before. The previous animation I did for Ken, where it's one of his characters wiggling their ears. Actually, I probably still have the file here somewhere. Yeah, this. This I drew frame by frame in Sketchbook Pro. But I did have to, like, layer it. It's just, I actually did several versions. Yeah, this is an alternate version. Yeah, there's one version where it's got sideburns, spines in the way of the ears, and then I did a version without them just so the ear wiggling could be seen more clearly. But you can't see the ear wiggles on the other ear as very well. If I was to redo this, I'd probably maybe make this more of a front view. Still 3/4, but just so you could see more of the other ear on the other side. If I was to redo this animation. Yeah, because I do like the ear wiggle here, where if I check out one of the front, well, or I could just bring it up here. Here, like if I go back, I'll just replay it. Like, I do like kind of showing the ears fold in like that. I'm trying to think, there was something else I wanted to, I think I wanted to have Bomb react sooner. Shit. I don't want to go all the way back to the beginning. Is there a way to... I wish there was a way to, like, just jump straight to a particular frame that I want. Oh. There isn't a way to, like, type in, you know, jump to frame whatever. There's a way to change the frame rate here. It's like 10 frames. What if it's 12 frames a second? Well, now I can put it on 24 frames a second. I wonder if it'll look different doing it 24 frames. I mean, aside from being faster. Or slower, actually, wait. Yeah, 10 frames a second is... That would be slow. That would...
Yeah, if it's more frames a second, that'll make it look slower. Although, that's 72 frames a second. Well, that would go through this animation really fast. Shoot. Like, is it actually changing anything? Like, this is not playing at 50 frames a second. Yeah, I don't know what frame rate GIMP is using here, because I thought it would, like, change the frame speed or something. Try using Microsoft Paint for everything, yeah. Yeah, let's see. I was trying, I'm trying to think of, like, other things I want to change. Like, one thing I wanted to do is change the sizes of the characters' heads to match, like, the first frame, or I just shrink their heads in the first couple frames and keep them consistent that way. But I like having them big just so they're large and expressive. I'm just in the stage of, like, getting the rough animation to look fine. Anything else I want to... Just trying to figure out what else do I want to change before I try, like, cleaning up all the frames and doing the final animation. Oh, now it's, like, doing 24 frames a second. I had to just close it. This looks like it's animated on ones. How does this look when I do 72 frames a second, where it's going warp speed? I didn't realize I had to close it in order to see the different frame rate. This would, like, probably do the whole thing in, like, 2 seconds. Yeah. I mean, going this fast, like, Baccio should, like, take off and start flying with the way he's flapping his ears. This is like hummingbird mode. You know what? I should try this. Like, let me try something. Okay. Okay, so let me try this just a moment. I want to do something ridiculous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, frame 2. Frame 3. Frame 4. Frame 5. Frame 6. 7. 8. Did I already do this one? Let's see. Okay. Here we go. Let's watch this. Yeah, there we go. Bomb is spazzing out. Yeah, I just want to do that. Okay, I'd like this to stop. Okay, it's GIMP is lagging on me. And, I don't know. I don't know if, having bomb spin at warp speed has caused GIMP to just fail or something. Shoot, come on. Okay, there. Yeah, sorry. Oh, wow. It crashed. The dying plugin you may have messed up GIMP's internal state. Okay, yeah. A bomb was spinning so fast it broke GIMP. Let's slow her down on the spin wash or whatever. Just 50 frames. Let me... There we go. I just like this. Putting her spin on, like... Just having... Yeah, I just like having this animation by itself for some reason. Just watching her go crazy. I don't know, she drank too much coffee and now she can't stop or something. I don't know. Okay, I should probably put this back on, like, did I have it on 10 frames or 12 frames? I don't remember what frame rate I had it on. On 12 frames it doesn't look as bad. Still, I just thought that's hilarious, watching her spin around like that at warp speed. But in all seriousness, let me watch this just to see, is there anything else in this animation I want to change? The headspin looks like a Mortal Kombat knockout. Yeah. Fatality. Yeah. Bacchio's Mortal Kombat fatality is, I don't know, wiggling his ears at the opponent. And then, I don't know, creates a gust of wind so strong it turns into a hurricane and blows his opponent away. Hurricane Bacchio. Yeah, I was thinking of, like maybe Bacchio is still wiggling his ears or finishes wiggling up them just as Bomb goes in for the hug. Like, I'm not sure, like, should he stop wiggling his ears and then she hugs, or he's about to finish up wiggling his ears and then she does the hug. That's the thing I've been trying to figure out. And also, like, how long should this kiss go on? Because like, I've thought of, like, what if the kiss is held longer?
if I change the animation on how she shakes the bell, I might do that later. I might want to film myself doing that as a reference, not just draw it off the top of my head. If I remember, like, I might have mentioned in one of my past streams, like, excuse me, like maybe the first 2 frames of her about to do the hug, like maybe he finishes up doing the ear wiggle. Maybe in the middle of, like on frame 81 here, she starts to do the hug, and then, or maybe frame 82 or something. And then he stops, just as she's about to do the hug. How about I make that change right now? Thing is, that would require, like, copy and pasting some frames and then moving them over. Then I have to, like, maybe move over the entire animation. I might have to cut out frames of him looking down, anticipating the hug or something. Noticing, Bomb's doing something here. Yeah, so maybe so either 81 or 82, Bomb starts to react or something. I'll have to go back. Make the kiss last 2.5 to 3 seconds. Make him finish up before the hug. So keep the pause there where he stops wiggling his ears and then she does the hug. Because I was wondering, like, should I have her start to rev up the hug as he finishes up wiggling his ears? It's just to kind of, like, not have the characters stay static for too long. Yeah, if I make the kiss last longer, that's gonna, just so it doesn't look like a bunch of still frames. Like, I remember with the kiss between Clark Gable and Clarabelle Cow, it's like, it starts off, just making contact, and then she goes in really hard and then goes out again. I wish there was a way to... Yeah. I wish there was a way to, like, rewind. Like a way to play this in slow motion or something, just so I could watch frame by frame a bit easier. Like, to sustain the kiss longer, that would require, like, drawing way more frames. Or alternatively holding a frame or something. But if I do that, then it'll look just too still. Let's see what frame. Shoot. KF12. So.
maybe I skip some of these frames. Maybe have Baccio skip to looking shocked at the incoming hug. I think. Save another version of this. Oh. Just in case I mess something up. Okay, where's the frame where... Okay, so it starts with spring 1. So erase this. I'll just call this spring redo 1 or something. This will be spring redo 2. Oops. Oops. See, at what point does... Okay, so it's on spring frame 4 where Baccio looks surprised. So I could probably... So where's the... So maybe have Baccio with his ears extended up like this. And then we go to spring 4. This is where he starts to react. Could call this BD7 alt or something. Just so I know which frames I'm replacing. I'll know that I'll cut these frames and just go to go from my redone frames to spring 4. Yeah, so that was a little easier than I thought it would be. Maybe I'll insert these changed frames into the animatic. Like Ken said, try and make the kiss a little longer. Let's look at the kiss frames. What I have. Maybe add another in-between here. In between frame 97 and 98. If I'm going to focus on making the kiss slower. But on the other hand, whoops, if I add too many frames, like this is a sudden action she's doing, and if, it should look a bit fast because she's, and if I add too many in-betweens, it'll make the action look slower and not as sudden. So maybe, maybe she grabs him quick, goes in for a slow kiss, then really max on him, and then she lets go or something. I don't know. Just trying to figure this out. Because if I have this kiss ass last, like, kiss ass, oh shit, wow. Yeah, I should have watched what I was saying, but if I have this kiss last about 2.5 to 3 seconds, that would mean, depending on if I animate this on 2s or 1s or 2s, like, that would be like 24, 48. That's going to be like 48 to 72 extra drawings. Unless I just act lazy and just have them stuck on a frozen frame for like a while. Huh. I am thinking like maybe I could add an in-between here. If I was going to make the kiss a little longer, that's one place where I could maybe add an in-between these frames where taking when Baccio stops kissing, like maybe she pulls away a little more slowly. But it's like the way I'm animating this, where it looks really squishy, it would look consistent with like a slower kiss. And just the way I have her mouth widening so much, making it look really squishy. Maybe I'll just insert the frames I have and figure out how long the kiss should be later. Let's see what frames. Because I know one thing I redrew was making sure it's all robot arms. keyframes here. I'll just go on keyframe 8 and figure it out from here. Okay, so I have the robot arm here. It's here where okay. Animation version 9. So I was telling Wax Badger and my friend Keyblade Raccoon about this earlier, but I caught someone stealing my art just by sheer randomness. I was browsing the DeviantArt front page and I saw someone had reposted one of the draw pile doodles I did, and I left them a stern comment telling them to delete, not to post stolen artwork. I don't know if they'll reply or something, but if they don't, then maybe I'll I don't know, maybe I'll send DeviantArt, I don't know, communication or something, letting them know, don't let this art thief just post whatever they want. I mean, it's not. I'm trying to think. There was one time I saw someone trace one of my walking paw animations, but when I let them know that I was the original artist, they apologized and credited me. But this art thief I found on DeviantArt, like, might be easier if I just like this. There we go. That way the number is still there. Okay, just making sure these frames are all numbered correctly. I had a shoot, where did I Earwiggle Anticipation 4 and 5. Oh, those might be part of the normal earwiggle animation. This? Okay. I was a little confused. Was it Devilahar? Oh, no, it was someone else. No, not that guy. Laurel, whatever his name is. No, this was just some random person I never heard of reposting artwork of mine. It was like a Pokemon fan art thing I did, not something Laurel would be interested in. Started talking about me as like... Yeah, well, speak of the devil and he shall appear, I suppose. I thought all weekend I had lost control of the universe. Oh, Laurel's account is gone on Deviant. Well, that's not someone I'm exactly gonna miss. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, just so I can see a little easier. Okay, uninvert it. Merge. There we go. Some of these I can probably... There we go. I thought of just one of the funniest examples of my art being stolen, quote unquote, where like it was a Garfield drawing I did that somehow ended up as a crappy internet meme on like some website probably nobody looks at. I can show it in a few minutes, just a moment.
the animatic what I have so far. It's funny to mention, like, Dan the guinea pig. I actually do have a guinea pig version of myself, but it's like in really, really old sketchbooks. I could show you, I guess, the actual guinea pig Dan in a way. I'd have to go through like my old elementary school sketchbooks and find like how I drew myself as a guinea pig. Again, I could probably do that after I'm done, like, tediously editing all these frames. I just saw another account with his content on it. He probably changed his username, but not his behavior attitude. I highly doubt it was Laurel. I mean, the picture they had reposted of mine, it was not sinking sand or anything else Laurel's into. Plus, they had pictures they'd stolen from other random people, so it's like it's not like they were specifically targeting me. Looking at go. What point does... Oops. Oh yeah, it's frame 81 or 82. That's where I'm gonna make the change and have bomb react a little sooner. And I want to see how it'll look. Let's see, okay, yeah, change here. Something I've learned not to do is like keep the frame number in the corner, since this is gonna, I'm not changing any frames here just yet. That way I don't have to go in frame by frame and rewrite all of them. Wait, 2 spammers in one stream? That's a record. Oh.
Recurrent streak KD. Well, oh. Yeah, you are definitely recurrent. Why is Stream? Why is it always Streamboo? Why is it never some other website? Like, I don't know, something related to crypto or I don't know, or someplace that'll like get you free money from the government, like Matthew Lesko or whatever his name is. Why is it always just someplace to buy more stream viewers? And get a little more creative with your scams. Like the first time I saw someone on DeviantArt, offering, oh, can I borrow your art to put in some URL in, I don't know, Estonia or something, and it's like, okay, that's interesting, I haven't seen that before. But then once they just send you the same message, maybe like one or two words changed over and over and over, it's like, okay, this is getting a bit repetitive. Come up with a new scam. Just copy and paste the same one over and over. I mean, allegedly, scammers don't bother checking their spelling or anything because they know if someone is so unscrupulous they won't like read the message carefully, they'll know someone they can easily take advantage of. It makes me think about like one message I got over a decade ago where someone asked me like, oh, I really like your drawing of your platypus character Shank. Can I like copy your drawings for a croquet set or something I'm making? And I don't know, I'm like, what? Like, as long as you're not selling your croquet set, it's like, I don't give a shit. If you want to, I don't know. I mean, I would much rather you commission me to draw illustrations for your croquet set, but I don't know. That was like one of the strangest requests I ever got. Okay, so here. Okay. Okay, so here I guess I can be like, excuse me. Oops. That for actually wait, I should I'm gonna have to renumber these frames if I'm doing this. Six. So if I'm going to copy this frame, or like, let's see, delete that, have the new one visible. What is it? Yeah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, this is going to get a little complicated, so I don't want to have to rewrite all the frames over and over.
do it right? Yeah. Okay, here we go. There's the fixed. So what I want to do is this. Of course, I could just copy the frame number and paste it on top. I don't know. There we go. You can buy people, well, buy viewers or something. It's something that's been going on like YouTube for ages, where if you want to get yourself ahead, you like find a bot farm that'll buy you, either make fake views or fake watchers or something. I mean, I remember ages ago on DeviantArt that used to be a problem where people would create accounts that are just bots, where they just watch a bunch of people at once and hope that a few people will watch back, or I don't know, they would. I did a drawing making fun of it. Like if I go on DeviantArt, yeah, a bit of GuineaPigDan is nostalgia. Yeah, just a moment. I think I called it Watch Bots Suck. Yeah, here we go. Flashback. Yeah, this old drawing, back when Domino had longer legs. Yeah, something like people creating accounts on DeviantArt where they just watch a bunch of people and hope you watch back. And there are like similar things on YouTube where people would buy like watchers or something to inflate their numbers and everything. Out of curiosity, would you ever consider doing a collab with a fellow? I've done a couple collabs. Yeah, I think the last one I did was I'm trying to remember their name. Techno Universal or something like that, where they had me draw Perry and Chuck with their My Little Pony OCs. It was interesting drawing some pony characters. I saw trying to think. Gamer from Mars, that's his name. He was it game? Yeah, I think it was Gamer from Mars did a documentary on the Brony fandom and went over every single bizarre controversy that the fandom has had, and it was very interesting. And also recapping the show as well, because I didn't watch My Little Pony. The only episodes I saw was the one with Discord, because he was voiced by John Delancey. And I did meet what's her name? Lauren Faust. I do have a. Let's see. I probably have the drawings. I might have shown them before on another screen. Yeah, it's unlocked right now. Yeah, this is from when I went to CTN Expo in 2013. I'd be fine doing a collaboration with Virus 20 if Virus would be interested, but met Luis Escobar, a Simpsons storyboard artist. Craig McCracken, that's Lauren Faust's husband. Asked him to draw Blossom, and then from Lauren Faust, I had her draw Discord, and that's Dave Thomas, storyboard artist for Fairly Odd Parents. Yeah. And then also, I met another animator named Ken Pontac, but that was at some autism spectrum event. Did a little self-portrait, and then this is something I got from Alternative Tentacles from when I visited Studio Fallout in, was it December 2024? I've been there twice, December and then earlier this year in February. I think this was from December, where I think this is some sort of collage that Winston Smith did. Yeah, and they're going to do another bat show, which is where they have fans draw the Alternative Tentacles bat symbol, and I'll try and think up something myself to put in my own entry. And then these are prints I got from Fanime this year, Dragon Tales, and someone drawing Totodile, like Totodile, merged with all these other Pokemon. Yeah, Totodile crossbreeds, that's what it's called. Yeah, I also have oh yeah, a bunch of my well, I don't know if I want to show their names, but students did portraits of me in heads and hands, and like I just have a bunch of these. And this one was done by R.J. Palmer, the one of the guys that worked on Detective Pikachu. That before he worked on a movie, but he did this. I guess you could say an actual GuineaPigDan drawing of me. But I want to show off how I drew myself as a guinea pig in a bit. In elementary school, though, so this would be one of my really, really old sketchbooks I'd be looking at. Let's see. I have seen R.J. Palmer a few more times. Like I saw him at Fanime 2013 before he worked on Detective Pikachu, and then I saw him again at 2019, and then again this year. I've only been to Fanime like 3 times: 2013, 2019, and this year. But I'll probably plan on going there more often now, because it is a fun con. And I did like meeting the guy that voiced Agumon and his wife as well. Okay, wait, I just remembered it was 81 where I wanted to make a change. Yeah, I just remembered. Was it 81 or 82? Yeah, here we go. Just remembered. Ah!
We'll see how this looks. Oops. Okay, just wanted to make sure I had shrunk down the camera. There's been times like I'm streaming and I'm like there was one stream where I was working on the animation and I didn't check and didn't know that I hadn't shrunk down my camera so you could see my screen, and I'm like, oh shit, I did that for an hour and didn't notice. Okay, so here I'm going to have to renumber things. And next is... I'm going to see how this looks in a bit. I'm going to spring... Okay, then it's normal again, I think. Where it changes, though, is we insert... let's see. Now we insert a new frame I drew somewhere. Here we go. This one. This frame somewhere. So before Dizzy frame number 3, this one will go somewhere. Yeah, so I'll have to renumber a lot of these. Let's see, how many times does she spin around before I do? Okay, here we go. Okay, she... Let me... I just insert the frame here. We'll see how it looks.
Okay, let's see how this looks. How the new animatic looks. This will probably be a few less frames. Yeah, 135. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, having that one extra frame I think does make it look a little... I think I had it originally on 10 frames a second. So let me watch it that way. Yeah, something one of my animation friends told me was like not exactly a principle of animation, but it's like something I do remember in one of our classes. Like you want to like guide the viewer's eye to where you want to focus. So it's like, and my friend told me, like if you're not careful, you can like maybe have a viewer might be uncertain where to look, and that's something I'm concerned about. Like, so they'll know to focus on the bell there as it rings, and then like Baccio starts wiggling his ears. But could will the viewer know to focus on Bomb, just as she's about to do the hug? It's like some nerdy animation stuff. I could figure out how to improve the kiss later. Maybe I could add an extra frame or two when Baccio's going in, just to not have him like, maybe you could go into the ear wiggle a little slower. I don't know. But I do think having the extra frame when he puts the mechanical hand on his cheek does help make it look a little softer. There we go. Okay, I'll take a break from animation and maybe we'll do a live YouTube reaction to this. Listening to this young lady, LarsLand, talk about Mark Lewisohn. So I think I'll get the cat to have to react to this video, since Peter was talking about the Beatles and everything. I'll have to do this at the risk of my life. Hey Peter, could I ask you a favor? Could you react to... Oh! 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 Peter, please don't! Stop! No! Oh! 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 Peter, please, no! Show mercy! There, you should be knocked out cold now. This is my show. Okay, so Daniel said he wanted me to react to something. Oh, what's this? Oh, that's... Camera all ready? Okay, good. I just want to make sure it's centered on me and everything. There we go. Alright, so let's see. Yeah. We need to talk about Mark Lewisohn. Yeah, so this is going to be a, live, Peter the Cat live reaction to a YouTube video. Let's see what this young lady has to say about Mark Lewisohn on the Beatles.
See, I mean, like, it's a fun read,
can see why it doesn't get that much criticism. It's a fun read. I don't even really plan on editing this, so hopefully it's not too bad.
By the way, I haven't pre-watched this. This is a video that was posted like just today earlier. So I just think it's kind of funny. I mentioned the Mark Lewisohn book earlier in this stream, and then all of a sudden this video just gets posted. So this is a YouTuber I started watching, following like a while ago. She does interesting videos about the Beatles. But I want to see what she has to say about Mark Lewisohn here.
We're just going to have a quick chat, and then I'm going to take somewhere between a 4 and 6 week break to work on Live Aid, which has become extremely important to me. Yeah. Not in the same way the Beatles, but we need to talk about Mark Lewisohn and the standard I've set, or the expectation I've set about making fun of him or calling him out, and what that means for LarsLand. First things first, Mark Lewisohn is an...
Okay, I'm not aware of people calling him out. Like, I've mentioned that I have the Bob Spitz Beatles biography. Let me go show it off really quick. This was like a gift GuineaPigDan got a couple years ago. And I think this was published in like 2006 or something, and it was like the first time GuineaPigDan learned about some of the more crazy Beatles stories, like 2005. Okay, like the more crazy Beatles stories, like how they discovered, playing tapes backwards, and that led to things like doing backwards guitar solos on like I'm Only Sleeping and Tomorrow Never Knows, and then also like the really bad Philippines concert that went wrong just because Brian Epstein like said no to their president or whatever, or their emperor. I don't remember who runs the Philippines, but a while ago GuineaPigDan like checked out what I think he was like fact checking like Albert Goldman's biography on Elvis Presley, but then he found like there were related forums where people were talking about this particular Beatles biography, and like he found out that like a lot of Beatles fans really don't like Bob Spitz and consider like large portions of this biography like inaccurate. And like specifically they were pointing to like some of the photos, like a lot of them have inaccurate descriptions, and Bob Spitz, when he got called out, was very defensive and claiming, "Oh, I didn't make any mistakes." So I don't know. I know there's drama with like Bob Spitz and a couple other like biographers of John Lennon, like I mentioned, Albert Goldman, and like people who had bones to pick with him, like but I'm not aware of like people being upset with Mark Lewisohn. Like I don't know if he wrote anything scandalous about the Beatles. All I know is that he wrote that book about all their recordings and everything, and documenting even stuff that hasn't been heard, like Carnival of Light and everything. So I don't know if like something happened between him and Apple. So let's continue the video. Yeah.
Even my least favorite Beatles author, that would be Philip Norman, because Mark Lewisohn has work that I still use. I want to be clear about this. He has worked very hard. He is, at least was, an incredible researcher, has put in a lot of work. I admire him.
Yeah, Philip Norman, I know that he's another, he did a biography of both Paul McCartney and John Lennon. I know that the John Lennon biography that Norman Philip did a couple years ago, I think it came out in 2008. That one was controversial. I remember he did an interview with Sean Lennon, John's son, who's now re-releasing a lot of his father's albums. But Sean mentioned that there was one incident where he like got in trouble, and John got so mad at him he yelled in one of Sean's ears, and it gave him permanent hearing damage that hasn't gone away even as an adult. So, and also Philip Norman, I don't know if he discovered this, but he found like an audio tape where John talks about, from like I think 1978, where John talks about having weird feelings for his mother Julia. Like it's very strange, and I think Yoko Ono like at first endorsed the biography, but then she withdrew her endorsement because of that unflattering thing Philip Norman brought to light. But again, I just know he had some things in his biography that were unflattering about John. I don't know if like Beatles fans consider him like a reliable source or something, but I find it very telling that after all that all the controversy he made with that one particular biography of John Lennon, Paul McCartney was still okay with Philip Norman writing a biography about him. I don't remember if the Paul McCartney autobiography came out before or after the John Lennon one. Sorry, I'm familiar. I've heard of some of these people who've written about the Beatles, but I don't know like every single thing they've done. So if she mentions some sort of scandal with Mark Lewisohn, it's going to be new to me. Yeah. So. Oh. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't realize there was going to be an ad. Skip ad. Okay, let me turn up. Okay.
What else is there to say about that? The Complete Beatles Chronicle and the Complete Beatles Recording Sessions. I mean, the Complete Beatles Recording Sessions, I was heavily using and leaning on that for the White Album timeline. And I definitely worked with it for the Help Project timeline. And I probably will in the future. I can't really think off the top of my head of another resource that is so easily accessible and compiled as that book is. Now, going forward, will I rely solely on his chronicling works? Probably not, and that's just for a sense of comfort as someone who is, while a fan and my Beatles work is in journalism, I'm a journalist, so I want to make sure that I am conveying the accurate information. So I'll be double checking, and that's what I should have been doing to begin with, especially since someone in my comments told me that Doug Solpe did find some issues with the Complete Beatles Recording Sessions. And while I didn't find those when I was working with the White Album, knowing a lot of the context in which he was explaining things, quotes that he had been using, I had already seen those in the sources that I had been using, so I felt comfortable. But comfortable and convenience, laziness, these are things that I have to grapple with, right? So we live, we learn, we move on. If you're unfamiliar with my gripe with Mark Lewisohn, well, I'm not the only one who has an issue with Mark Lewisohn and the way that he did his tune-in sourcing, using and cutting quotes, and the inaccuracies or kind of did you pull a muscle making that reach conclusions in Tune-In Volume 1. I made a video about it called the Lewisohn Live video, and it's not even completely about Lewisohn.
I haven't seen that video.
The title because I was feeling sparky about it. It's actually about how to ethically research the Beatles, how I ethically research the Beatles, and what you should expect of me if you're sitting and watching 3-hour videos from me. Because I think transparency is really important, so I wanted to share my process and, frankly, update a video that I had made 3 years prior and share where I was at with things and, unfortunately, some things that I had learned. No one is more upset about realizing one of my main sources has issues with inaccuracy or retelling stories than I am. This would have been a lot easier for me to just let it go under the rug and just forget about Mark Lewisohn lying or stretching the truth or fabricating. It depends on who you are and what you want to say. I'm not the most seasoned in this conversation. I'll link some things below, but Another Kind of Mind podcast made a series on their podcast, in an in-depth podcast. I listened to their first 2 episodes on it regarding what they're seeing and what they found concerning. And what they said is something that I think I should repeat is, if you're going to be publishing works, particularly on something as historically significant as the Beatles, because we're not even talking about merely music here, we're talking about fashion, culture, race relations in some places, politics, connections with the world, broadcasting, music videos. The echo of the Beatles are seen in a lot of places. If we're not talking about specifically the Beatles, but other bands that may have worked with or been influenced by the Beatles were influenced by those bands. There's so much involved in the Beatles. So if someone is going to write about and be published about this topic, their work better hold up to scrutiny. And mine is scrutinized. Yeah, I get defensive, but
I'm just gonna pause here a bit, just so it's not, so I have a bit of my own commentary. I'm guessing that maybe this is building off maybe previous videos she did about Mark Lewisohn or like other videos people have done. So yeah, I guess to fully understand this video, I should have watched all these other videos about Mark Lewisohn. I know there's Pop Goes to 60s did something on like Mark Lewisohn having a falling out with Apple or something. So maybe I'm a little out of the loop here as to I thought there was going to be something like I don't know, Mark Lewisohn wrote a statement about the Beatles, but then it turned out to just be some massive whopper that he had to retract or something, or he said something scandalous about one of the Beatles, and that's why they had to let him go or something. Like I remember reading about this one particular John Lennon interview called Lennon Remembers, and it's like an interview he gave to Rolling Stone, like after the Beatles broke up I think in 1970 or 1971, and he was promoting his album Plastic Ono Band, and like John makes a lot of very angry statements about the other Beatles, and I remember I don't remember if it was Pop Goes the 60s or some other YouTuber. Basically, the person that interviewed John was, I think his name is Jan Werner or something, and basically I don't remember if it was Pop Goes the 60s or someone else was like criticizing this interview that basically they took John's side too much over the other Beatles, and basically just let John angrily vent against everyone else and didn't call him out when he might have said something inaccurate, and kind of blamed he blamed Jan for like, or is it Jan or Yan? Because I remember like you don't pronounce his name exactly the way it's spelled or something, but it's like there was criticism over Jan Werner, and maybe it's Yan, I don't remember, but it's spelled Jan, Jann, or something like that. But like they criticized the way he conducted that interview, and I think Jan Werner like a while ago, I think he made like some sort of weird racist statement about black people in rock and roll, and like people were demanding that he have some accolades removed or something. I don't know. So the way this young lady is talking about Mark Lewisohn, though, I don't know if it's going to be that as bad as that or something, or is it just like if he was let go from Apple or something, he's not allowed to like listen to the Beatles archive stuff anymore. Something must have happened between them. I don't know. Let's keep going.
The comments that correct me, I take down the comments that are needlessly mean or cruel or whatever, because it is my land. And once again, it would have just been easier to ignore that, because Mark Lewisohn has a lot of fans. Thousands and thousands and thousands of fans. So many more than I ever will. So I'm punching up, and, punching up is the only way to punch. You can't punch down. But once...
I was not aware that Mark Lewisohn had fans. All I knew about was that one book. Like, that's a little odd to hear about. Like, this is I mean, I know that, I don't know, it's a little hard to think of like Beatles biographers having fans. I know that Bob Spitz's book probably has a lot of anti-fans, but I don't know. I mean, is part of the problem like people just take what Mark Lewisohn says too much as gospel or something, not like cross-checking with other sources. I mean, I hope that she mentions like some sort of specific incidents or something where, I don't know, Mark Lewisohn crossed the line or something, and it's like, I don't know, now he is verboten from Apple or whatever. I don't know. Paul McCartney gave him a pink slip. There's a, I don't know, there's like an idea for a goofy drawing. I don't know, Paul and Ringo are like, Mark Lewisohn, we are not happy with what you were writing about the Beatles. We must, we're sacking you. That's it. You don't say you're fired. You say you're sacked in British English. So I don't know. They throw a sack at him or something, or either they throw a sack at him or they put him in a sack or something. I don't know how the origin of that phrase.
You see things, it's hard to unsee them, especially when seeing those things affects your ability to look yourself in the mirror. If I wasn't accurate, and if I didn't share with you some concerns I had about the preeminent Beatles author...
Oh, shit, another ad.
I'm on my way.
Come on, skip. Okay. There. Yeah.
I would have a hard time looking myself in the mirror. And this is something I care about because I am a fucking journalist. I wouldn't be able to do this with my published writings. So I don't want to bring that energy to my videos that are passion projects. I'm the same person across the board. Before I was a Beatles fan, I was a journalist. And before I was a journalist, I was a writer. And before I was a writer, I was a big feeler and thinker. And that doesn't mean I'm smart. It just means I was curious. And with my curiosity came perhaps too much empathy. I just can't repeat the same mistakes because here we are in this world with so much information available at our fingertips and questions that are just going unanswered. And in fact, one of my friends got a hold of me today and texted me and asked me this, which I think was a great question and has opened a couple of doors and perhaps will be an upcoming video here. You're the most well-read person on the Beatles that I know personally, so I'm going to ask, and I'm not reading that to blow smoke on my ass. This is actually what it says. Have you come across any sources that talk about Black America's thoughts on the Beatles during 63 through 66? I've been trying to find this, and I honestly just feel confused and lost because you see all these articles and interviews about girls, but all of these girls are white. Sure, there are accounts from black girls being so excited and being able to go to the same concert as white girls and sit amongst them, but I feel this doesn't give me enough information. I also feel like every single photo of Beatlemania are white girls, so I'm left to wonder, like, were black girls just more interested in Motown? Did they not care? Was it too dangerous for them, or were they afraid? I just feel like I haven't found anything that addresses what I think seems to be a gaping hole in Beatle history. So I respond, I'll have to look into this and come back to you because I can't think of something off the top of my head. Okay, cool. I'm trying to look into it as well, and I'm kind of coming up blank, which in my opinion shows a failure on Beatle historians because this seems pretty significant. I said, I need to get in touch with Sarah Schmidt from Meet the Beatles for Real. This might be something only found through the fan clubs, folks, but I'm working on a journalism thing today and I'm on deadline, which is today, so I'll do it Tuesday or Wednesday. I thought about something like that too, but I wouldn't have known to get in touch with. So then I sent a couple of books that I found, but they were regarding...
I will say that's a question I haven't considered about, like, I've one of the books I've read about John Lennon, John Wiener's Come Together, John Lennon in His Own Time. I like that book because, like it says, John Lennon in His Own Time. It looks at contemporary reactions to John's political activism and how, like, even among left-wingers who would agree with John's views, they didn't really like the way John presented himself. Like, they thought maybe the bed-ins for peace were, like, too silly or something. And that is, like, I've read things on, like, when John made the more popular than Jesus remark, like the Ku Klux Klan protested him. And I remember there's a funny line in John Wiener's book that goes like, you know, some newspapers at the time reported that 8,000 Klansmen protested the Beatles, but in reality the number was probably closer to just 8. And that is interesting that, you know, like even contemporary newspapers at the time would exaggerate things. But that is something I've not considered. Like apparently a lot of photos of, you know, young girls cheering the Beatles, it's mostly white girls, but like this particular friend of the video maker here is like trying to look for like black girls' reactions or something. That is something I haven't thought about. I do know that Paul McCartney. I read that the song Blackbird was the original lyric was black girl, and it was supposed to be something about racial equality until he decided to change the word to the lines from black girl to blackbird. And I do also know that the Beatles, when they came to America, they refused to play at any venues that were racially segregated. They would, and kind of probably another reason why the Ku Klux Klan did not like the Beatles. That and John Lennon was of Irish descent, and the Klan thought Irish people were the wrong kind of white. So that might have been a factor if they even knew he was part Irish. Yeah.
Black music in the Beatles, how black musicians kind of were the rising tide that brought the Beatles up, and how they continued to bring the Beatles through. And I said, so not really what we're looking for. And Sam says, right, like I can read so much on how the Beatles originated from black music and what black musicians thought of them, but there seems to be nothing on what black America thought about them during their fame. You can't just say America fell in love with the Beatles when there were two very different America we're talking about. So it's like, what are you talking about? Historians, please clarify. So I reached out to Caitlin Larkin from the Beatles channel on Sirius, and she reminded me of a couple places that there are black input in Beatles 64, the documentary, and the 8 Days a Week documentary with Whoopi Goldberg. Sorry, we're gonna have to check for the name here. Dr. Kitty Oliver. And she also recommended a black act that I reach out to and got my information to Sarah Schmidt, who, if I had to pick the biggest Beatle fan, which I really think you can't, but I would give it to her. She's doing God's work over there. These are things that, if I'm talking about what I want to make sure I'm covering, these aren't mistakes I can continue to repeat. I have to try, right? Because these are things I'm sure you're curious about as well. The Beatles were so influenced and loved black music, and black girls loved the Beatles, and probably black boys as well. We know that black acts loved the Beatles. Where are their stories? We have to try to find them and put them out there. On a tougher note, I've been going live recently a couple of times a week and stuff, because in between working on Live Aid has been a little tough. It's a tough topic, just like Concert for Bangladesh was a tough topic. We're talking not about record sales, but life and death and music in between, and it is like whiplash, covering the extremes of those two things. So I've been going live, and sometimes we'd put the Lou count up, and people would bring up Lewisohn, and I would say things, and I'd go off because I'm a bitch. Because I'm an emotional person. I need to work on being less condescending and being more compassionate, and hopefully that's something I can stick in my back pocket and integrate. There have been situations where people have crossed the line a couple of times, and I hid them, whether it be in the live or in my actual videos, where people kept crossing lines, whether they were just inappropriate, or they were sexist or bigoted, or just accusing me of stupid things like not reading, and it's a continuous behavior, and therefore they're hidden. I never thought that I would be big enough for this, but we're dealing with like a little bit of harassment and stuff. And that's weird. It's weird. But I want to make something clear, because going forward things might be even a little bit more whatever. Sourcing is important. Accuracy is important. I will never stop caring about this. I will probably stop harping on Lewisohn so much. The only issue really that I would bring him up for in the future is if there is a common narrative that has kind of been spurned by him, and then I will find the other sources and fix that. But I probably will do my best to not even mention him and just go with the accuracy of the sources, right? Because it's causing drama, which is unfortunate, because I was hoping that everyone here with me would care about the truth like me. Because that's what you said you cared about, instead of your pet favorite authors. I've had to be disappointed from some of my pet favorite authors disappointing me, letting me down. It sucks. I've let you down too. You have to be disappointed with me when I've messed up and screwed up and done something wrong or said something wrong. And in a lot of ways I can be offensive or hurtful in the way that I speak. And ultimately what I'm going for is like the truth. A fully representative, holistic picture of the history of the Beatles, or whatever I'm talking about, if it's a historical subject, in the most accurate way possible, no matter what that means. And that sucks sometimes, because that means we can get our feelings hurt, or we might have to grapple with how things have changed. And it really sucks when I have to remove like support or people that I thought were nice, because that is too big of a hill to climb. And that sucks. It sucks for them, it sucks for me. And it's inappropriate to continue following those things or making like alt accounts. It's inappropriate. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for me because I fall for the bait. And I get mad too, So anyway, I'm going to be stopping lives, at least for now, for the future.
Streams?
My live streams will be available on Patreon.
Oh.
If you want to get your gold passport, patreon.com/LarsLand, because I need some sort of gate from people just being able to access me and say mean things. But I think the thing that bothered me maybe the most was that people were saying that I hadn't read this goddamn book. Like, are you... Yes, I have. And in fact, I didn't have tabs on this one the same way because I started using my post-it system. But I went ahead and started adding these recently because if I need to go check things, I want to be able to find them quickly. I do regret the way that I tabbed these because I tabbed them with the names of the chapters rather than the dates, and that hasn't been an easy way to go. But you'll notice that my tabs include the sources back here and the pages that you'll need to go to find the footnotes. Because no matter what author I'm reading from, I go to the footnotes. This isn't specific to our pet favorite author, Lewisohn. This is specific to every author I read from. And if they don't have footnotes, then I am extremely dubious, because that means that they are just writing. You know,
Almost done. Should be like...
I have to be able to double check.
Okay, just last minute.
You have to be able to double check me. That's why my source lists are always available. So anyway, I just wanted to give this little announcement to talk about Mark Lewisohn, to talk about accuracy, and that I'm disappointed in a couple of people. Thank you to the people who have been so supportive. Last night, August 30th, I was on live and I got real sad. I had sad boy hours, and there were people who were very nice to me about that, and I appreciate that so much. So I just needed to yap, and this is a completely unedited video. So hopefully that's just not too awful for everyone. And yeah, if I need to protect my peace, I'm going to remove access to me, and I think that that's completely fair. But I love y'all so much, no matter what. And y'all come back now here. Bye.
Okay. All right. That, just trying something different for a change, where I react to I've reacted to trailers, but I haven't reacted like another person's YouTube video. I thought she was going to go into more detail about what was problematic about Mark Lewisohn, but I guess I have to watch a bunch of other videos to get the full context of what was going on. But yeah, what she said about causing drama with people's different sources, I know that if you go into discussions about the Beatles, there's going to be things like people get into arguments over Yoko Ono's involvement in the breakup. Like, you'll have people saying, "No, stop attacking Yoko. She's been through enough shit." And then there's people that are like, "No, she stole George Harrison's biscuit. She sat on George Harrison's amp. She is the devil incarnate." And like, if she used her Japanese magic or whatever to bewitch John Lennon. Like, people just demonizing her and making her just making outrageous claims about her. And they're kind of egged on by people like Fred Seaman, like a former assistant to John and Yoko, who I think he wrote a book where he claimed that Yoko sent a bunch of bodyguards to beat him up or something. And but he's also I think I saw people arguing on the Steve Hoffman forums, where they were saying that Fred Seaman was also going on Google groups back in I think the 90s or something, claiming that I'm trying to remember he was making strange claims about John's assassination, that Yoko had foreknowledge of it or something. I'm probably misremembering. There's people that claim that Yoko was preparing to divorce John, but then conveniently John gets killed, and then she inherits all of John's wealth and everything, and it just there's a lot of drama around Yoko. I know that she's one topic that there's going to be a lot of people either defending her strongly or hating on her excessively. And the breakup of who's responsible for the breakup of the Beatles, I know that's something that there's a lot of drama around that. And I'm trying to think what other contentious topics are there among the Beatles, aside from bullshit like the Paul is dead rumor. It's been nearly 50, 60 years since that rumor got started, and there's still people believing in it, calling Paul Fall, that's fake Paul, or trying to play Beatles records backwards or something, or to try and find more clues to that Paul died and was replaced with an imposter. I'm trying to think, there's also a conspiracy theory that the Beatles never existed and it was all just a bunch of different actors. But that conspiracy theory, I think, is just piggybacking off the Paul is dead rumor. And trying to think what other contentious topics are there among Beatles biographies. I mean, well, there's just a lot of stuff about John Lennon. What was he doing from 1975 to 1980 when he retired from music before he started recording Double Fantasy? How much did John and Yoko really love each other? Things like that. I'm trying to think, is there anything contentious about the other Beatles?
Like I'm sure. Oh, I just remembered. Like in the 1980s, after Wings broke up, Denny Lane, like I think Linda McCartney gave an interview where she criticized how well the other members of Wings played their instruments, and Denny Lane and I don't remember if it was Linda first or Denny first, but Denny then went to the tabloids and gave some interviews where he said really unkind things about Paul McCartney, and debates about, is Paul McCartney really an asshole, and how responsible was he with the breakup of the Beatles, and did he treat the other members of Wings nicely, and things like that. And because Paul is known to be like a perfectionist with what he does, and while John was more laid back. And I'm trying to think, is there anything controversial about Ringo and George? I know with Ringo, like there's some people that really hate him because in 1980 I think he like beat one of his wives or something, and that was like really really long ago. But that's something that a lot of people are unhappy with Ringo. And with George Harrison, I know that he was a womanizer, and that there was actually one time where I think he slept with Ringo's wife, and then that caused Ringo and his first wife to like basically divorce or something, and yet somehow George and Ringo still like they forgave each other and still remained friends to the end somehow. I know that was like one of the weird incidents in George and Ringo's lives. Jeez, I'm just trying to think. Like, most of the drama I'm aware of is either people disputing how much of an asshole Paul McCartney is and how much of an asshole John was, and like how much of his relationship with Yoko, how much of it were they really in love with each other, or were they just doing it for the press and everything, just to pretending to look like a happily married couple and everything, or did they secretly hate each other and were planning to divorce before before Double Fantasy came out? I don't know. I know there's like there's Beatles works that idealize them, and then there's a lot of authors that like they choose one or two Beatles they really hate and demonize them. Yeah, so that can make it a bit difficult if you're trying to research, because there's people that like Albert Goldman that would prefer to focus on all the negative things. I don't know. There's probably things I should probably research a bit more, like why people find Mark Lewisohn, like whatever happened that they're unhappy with him or something. Let's see what. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I don't know if what else I can do tonight. What time is it? 8:21. Oh. Yeah, maybe I could do some tricks. I don't know. I'm gonna juggle some guinea pigs on the stream. Yeah. Oh, dang it. Yeah, I'm not good at this at all. Yeah. I'm not sure what else to do tonight, but I think I might just call it a night. Yeah, we did a bit of animation, reacted to some Beatle things. Yeah, so let's see. Yeah, here we go. So I want to thank everyone for watching, and thank you, to Ken for commissioning GuineaPigDan for this animation commission and everything. Yeah, I'm not sure when we'll ever get it done, because animation takes quite a while and everything. And I know GuineaPigDan said he wanted to do a comic thing, but I think it's getting kind of late. Maybe next stream or something. Yeah, so I'll just put up the end card here. Yeah, so gracias por la visita. Thank you for watching. Follow GuineaPigDan on. Oh wait. Yeah, I'm not gonna end stream just yet. I just remembered. GuineaPigDan said he wanted to show off his guinea pig self. So this will be the last thing we do before we end stream. So let me get GuineaPigDan again. Let me just yeah, sorry, false ending. Yeah. I want to show off how GuineaPigDan drew himself, so I'll just have to wake him up. Oh, jeez. Oh, yeah. I want to get one of my old sketchbooks. Okay. Alright. Before we end stream,
let me show off how I drew myself as a guinea pig. Let's see. Here we are. Yeah, these are some of my oldest sketchbooks. One of these lost the cover. Yeah, so, where are my glasses? Did Peter steal them? Yeah, let me find... Jeez. If I can't find the drawing I'm thinking of, I might just recreate it in Sketchbook Pro. I'll just have to do this, excuse me, blind as a bat. Well, I'm not really that blind. But I have thought of, like, doing a stream where, like, I show off some of my old artwork. Stuff like this. Like, I thought, like, what if I reacted to, Linkara's, what was it? The Lightbringer comic, but I thought that would be unfair, because Linkara probably isn't proud of those comics anyway. And I thought, well, what if I react to some of my own old comics? Stuff I did in elementary school. But somewhere I once drew myself as a guinea pig, and it's really strange. You can... Oh. Comics dealing with the Y2K bug. This would be Cousin Albert. Saying, oh, I can fix the Y2K bug by just splashing a computer with water, and then the bugs come out, not realizing he's ruining the computer. These are like old characters that I haven't drawn in a long time. Like, I don't know, do I have a... Like, I know I drew myself as a guinea pig a few times, but... Yeah, I, like, very stupidly, like, for some of these pages, instead of drawing with, like black or blue pen, I drew with a pink pen for some reason. I don't know why. I guess it's because gel pens were, like, cool when I was in elementary school, because they were, like, colorful and sparkly looking. Oh. Well. It's an interesting time capsule looking at some of my old stuff, because, like, I knew kids were playing Magic the Gathering, so I did a comic where Cinnamon and Midnight are like, oh, the kids next door are playing Magic the Gathering, and then magical things start happening, like one of, Cinnamon has a guinea pig Elvis come out of his nostrils. That's supposed to be Elvis right there. And then Cinnamon is turned into a horse. And I'm not sure what Midnight is supposed to be in over here. It looks like he has a duck on his head. And then, I don't know. Like, these are... And unfortunately, I did not date these really old cartoons. So I don't know, like, exactly what grade I was in when I drew these. I can see comics I did with a friend of mine. Okay, then there's a time skip where I go from elementary school to stuff I did in middle school. This shit looks horrendous. This actually is dated from 2001. Yeah. I could have sworn I had comics where I drew myself as a guinea pig somewhere. And then I did then there's some college sketches that look really bad here. I'd rather not show those. Oh, look at that. A Draw Muhammad Day drawing I did in 2010. I might have a video of this, because I remember when I did my Draw Muhammad Day for this year, like, I linked the old YouTube videos I did where I draw Muhammad. Oh wait, I have a second one? Oh, well, there's a second. I don't know, I guess one wasn't good enough, so I did another. I don't know if blurry on camera. There. Okay, so I can't find... Oh, look at this. Like, some of these I haven't seen in years. Like, a drawing I did for the Night Before Armageddon video I did, like, years ago. William Tapley at a keyboard, and I have a Shroud of Turin rug there, and I don't think I knew when I did this that William Tapley actually is Catholic, so him having a Shroud of Turin rug probably would make sense. Actually, wait. I think I have a picture of... Is that supposed to be, say, Saint Aquinas there? Like, I have a picture of Thomas... Okay, so maybe I did know that he was Catholic. Yeah, this is dated July 20th, 2010. Okay, so... Yeah, that was a really weird video I collaborated on. Okay, so maybe... It's in this one. I had 2 sketchbooks in elementary school. This is... Like, I drew in both at the same time, and unfortunately, since I didn't date these, like, I don't know what order these comics go in. I have a... Oh, I guess this is supposed to be Midnight having a nightmare where he's tortured by guinea pig Albert Einstein, because Midnight was supposed to be the smart guinea pig. He idolizes Albert Einstein, and I don't know, for whatever reason. What's Albert Einstein saying here? I told you to get my holographic rare Pokemon card. Did you listen? No. And Midnight's like, no, Albert Einstein, don't do it. I demand you don't do it. And he's going to torture him with an Acme torture device. Why would Albert Einstein appear on a Pokemon card? I don't know. This is... I don't know. Like, it's Albert Einstein, not Stephen Hawking, or, I don't know, some other scientist. Yeah, I'm just looking through... Can I find myself, how I drew myself as a guinea pig? Okay, this is like something I don't understand. Best smelling odor, anything from perfume. Worst smelling odor, anything that come from the bathroom. And I have one of my characters, Sugar the Guinea Pig. That doesn't look good. Looking at a toilet that says, reserved for Mr. Cockroach and reserved for Mr. I cannot read that name. Because it's too squished. That was, I guess, my lame attempt at toilet humor as a kid. And Super Sugar Sisters. I guess a Mario parody with Sugar, my guinea pig? I don't know. Yeah, like, I could have sworn there was a comic somewhere where I draw myself as a guinea pig, and I can't find it. I see something that says Peanuts Tribute. I'm gonna guess maybe that's something I drew after Charles Schultz died. That would have been in 2000, so that's like the few clues I have to when I might have drawn these comics, is if they reference current events or something, that would give me a clue as to when I drew it. Like, I could have sworn I'd done some... fourth wall breaking comics where they say, oh, here's the cartoonist. Wow, there I am getting worked up on how to draw bird feathers. If that's clear at all. Oh, I actually date something Halloween Comics 2000, so you know, there I have one. So maybe this was middle school. But I could have sworn, if I can't find how I drew myself as a guinea pig in one of these books, then I might just draw a mock-up of how I remembered it. Maybe I have, like, a drawing in one of my old journals. I don't know. But it would be more authentic if I showed an actual drawing I did as a kid, rather than just trying to recreate it. But I can see, like, comics that are very influenced by Simpsons or Calvin and Hobbes. Oh, wait, there's a comic with a Smeargle. Yeah, well, yeah, like, I don't know, I guess Sugar the guinea pig, like, I guess this is Calvin and Hobbes, inspired, where a doll comes to life and Sugar talks to it. I don't know. But, I'm sure there's I've seen a couple Smeargle furries that they might appreciate these comics where, I don't know, for some reason Smeargle is the one Pokemon I decided to give, like, a shout out here. There's a drawing of Opus that is horrifically bad. Yeah, like, there we go. I don't know if it's like the Smeargle doll goes back to being a doll, and then Sugar's Opus doll comes to life, and that's Opus the penguin from Bloom County. Okay, I can't find myself as a guinea pig anywhere. Like, I would have thought, it's kind of like I thought I'd had comics where Aunt Brazil appears as a character, but then no, I couldn't find any other than the one comic where she's dead, and it's just a grave. Okay, well, I'm a little disappointed. Excuse me, you can watch me die on stream. Okay, I'll just open up Sketchbook Pro and show you myself, how I think I drew myself as a guinea pig. Okay. Well, first I should show something. What influenced me. Okay, I was hoping there'd be a bigger picture. But, that's very small. Well, there's some larger ones to the side. Well, okay, so, as a kid, I saw the Simpsons 138th special, where they show Matt Groening, and they make him look like this old man with balding with an eye patch. And, I think that inspired me to, like, you know, draw myself, like, the creator is I don't know, not a very nice looking character. So if I remember, this is back when I drew my guinea pigs as like potato characters. This is how I drew myself as a guinea pig as a kid. I put a mustache on me to look older. Shirt. I don't remember if I drew hair on me or something. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't know. But this is how I drew myself as a guinea pig. Maybe there's like some comic I haven't seen, or maybe in my my journals, but I try to draw myself looking older, and influenced by how Matt Groening depicted himself in the Simpsons 138th special, making him look like deranged and unfriendly and everything. And I guess that would have been funny to me. Get out of my office! Bang. Yeah. Not a very flattering portrait. But I wish I could have found like an actual drawing I did as a kid, where I drew myself like this. Maybe in one of my old journals. If it's not in my oldest sketchbooks. Or maybe there's like I've got papers, like old worksheets I kept in middle school. Like the teacher would give us spelling tests when it was multiple choice. You know, how do you spell this word? And usually we'd get them back, and I would keep the papers, and then I would doodle on the backs of them, and just draw comics on them. Maybe, I don't know, maybe on some random paper I have somewhere, I have a depiction of myself looking like this. I don't know. But maybe when I post this to YouTube, I'll have this in the thumbnail. Like, this is how the artist portrayed himself as a kid. This is how I imagine my future self to look. Yeah, so. And you can see, like the real life Daniel here is hardly an improvement over that guinea pig. So anyway, now I'll end stream for real. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Alright, so. Thank you for watching. Gracias por la visita. Follow me on DeviantArt, Weasel, Blue Sky, Instagram, YouTube, Tumblr. Yeah, I'm for Shinku on Fur Affinity, and buy my stuff on Cafe Press. If you want to follow me on Shitter, do so at your own risk. I don't know. So, anyway, and yeah, help Nick Artist as well. So, how long is this? Oh, almost 5 hours. Okay. So, thank you everyone for watching. Guinea Pig Dan signing out. And now for that pesky off switch. I think I found it. And I'm going to research Mark Lewisohn and find out what the big deal with him is. So, good night, everybody.